All right, it says I'm live here, so we will see what happens. Trying some new things today. Hello, friends. My name is Jennifer Wilson. I am your guide here at Simple Scrapper. I have my webcam in a new location. I know it's not perfectly straight, but it is super non-imposing, and I am someone that doesn't like things hanging over my head. So if you're that person who's in your kitchen and there's a cabinet open and you're worried that you're going to hit your head on it, I hope you can understand that. So my tiny little webcam is up here and it's not hanging in a way that makes me freak out that there's a monster attacking me. And yeah, with that, we will jump into some fun play with some mixed media supplies today. So you may or may not know, but this is Technique Month at Simple Scrapper, and I did not realize how much I needed this time to just play. I've been experimenting with alcohol inks for the first time. I am definitely let's call me an intermediate beginner, but clearly very much a beginner. Today I'll be in the chase for the elusive ability to play with alcohol inks without getting it to run off the page. That seems to be the juggle. Can you make a design without it running off the edge? And so we will try that in a little bit. I've also been playing with some distress oxides. These inks are so fun. They are a hybrid dye and pigment ink combination. They provide just such rich, more opaque color. And I'm just having fun playing and learning new techniques for scrapbook backgrounds, for cutting things apart. I did one the other day where I took one of these backgrounds and I actually cut it into two smaller pieces to kind of make some pattern paper. These, I'm not quite sure what I want to do yet. This one in particular, I really like. I'm actually thinking about framing it just to celebrate this new journey in alcohol inks and creative play, but we'll see. Now today, I have two things in mind that I want to work on. One is playing with this alcohol ink cardstock. So the ones I just showed you were alcohol ink Yupo paper, and this is completely non-porous paper that's synthetic, and that's also what this is, but this is a different brand. This is the Nara synthetic art paper, but very similar. And you use alcohol inks on it, and it provides that experience where it doesn't bleed through your paper because it's completely non-porous. But these, I've been told, are a little bit different. I had seen this tutorial using distress oxides, and I thought it was on the Yupo paper where you make designs and you dry it in between the layers, and then you use this distress glaze, and it kind of makes everything more dimensional. Like you're looking at it with 3D glasses, really kind of bringing out all the details of each layer. And it turns out, the video I was watching, she was using the alcohol ink cardstock. So I picked some of that up so I can give that like a sixth try. I tried so many times before, could not figure out what I was doing wrong. Turns out it was the medium that I was using. And so we'll do that with these kind of three little blue-green colors. And I think that'll be fun. I have my heat gun all plugged in, ready to go over here, and we're going to try not to burn or warp any paper today. We're going to be gentle and slow. And then for the alcohol inks, I'm going to try to make a design here. I think I'm going to use this teal, this green, and this purple to do a really cool colored look. I guess I'm in a cool colored mood today, and we're going to play with that and see what we can do. And I want to create a background. So this was actually 12 by 12 paper, and this Nara brand, and I've linked that in the description, is one of very few that I've seen so far that actually makes 12 by 12. But I've been making 8.5 by 11 layouts, and so I wanted to cut it down to 8.5 by 11 just for this. And for another reason, a more kind of technique, logistics reason, I will show you when we get to that point. But it is 12 by 12 to start with. Here's that paper. And this is what that looks like on Amazon. I had this recommended by my creative team member, Audrey. She likes this. She's been playing with alcohol inks for the first time as well. So if you are an advanced practitioner, I would love your feedback. If you are a newbie like me, I hope you will play along and learn something new. And I can see your comments here, so if you feel like you want to chat or anything, please pop in the comment box. Ask questions, let me know what you're working on today, and we can do that as well. So I will put this stuff aside for the moment. And oh, I'm gonna sneeze, excuse me. We're gonna start with this. So I've got one of these. It looks like, it's almost like glossy photo paper, but that like really cheap glossy photo paper. It's a very strange texture. It is totally matte on the back and then glossy on the front. So it must be something that's kind of semi-porous. I don't know. We'll have to see. There has to be a reason why this will dry. The Distress Oxide will dry on this paper, but it does not dry on the Yupo paper, like ever. I loved it overnight. It's still smeared. So we will experiment with that. Got my craft mat all ready to go. Hi, Becky. Becky says she's never tried alcohol or distress inks, but excited to learn. All right. So I'm just going to smudge some of these on my craft mat. You can see there's a little bit more of this one. There's a little bit of staining here from some of my earlier playtime. One of the first times I used alcohol inks, didn't realize quite how staining they would be. So you'll see what I've now done to make sure that I'm not really touching them. But the Distress Oxides, these clean up really nicely. I just use like a baby wipe on this afterwards, and you'll see that when we get there. Now I'm just going to put a little bit of water. This is actually the sprayer I use for my hair, but it's now been becoming the craft sprayer. It has a great mister on it. And just gonna rub that and see what happens here. Let's get it to run a little bit. So I have found doing these types of techniques to be great for my patience. We'll see more of that when we get to the drying time, because I am inherently not a very patient person. I am a go, go, go type of person. I multitask more than I should. I'm going to soak up a little bit of the excess here. I had some paper towels. I did not do those. All right, now we're going to attempt for this first layer to very gently dry this without causing problems. So hopefully the noise will not be too horrible for you guys. And I've learned that you want to keep this like at least 6 inches, if not a foot away, and be very patient. Let's see how fast this is drying. This looks like already that it's drying a lot faster than the other. Oh yeah, we're almost there already. All right, yeah, so there is something really different about this particular cardstock. So let's go in again more. Maybe we'll do a little spritz. I think this type of experimentation is also great for learning which of your colors are more vibrant, more pigmented. I'm gonna smush a little more stormy sky over here. Water. We can also dry at an angle here. If I can show this so that the air is kind of forcing a little bit more of that movement. Spritz this one. Oh yeah, that was fun. All right, I'm going to take my sprayer out and just kind of do a little bit of a, get some splotches. So that's the kind of the whole thing with these distress oxides is that they're reactive with water. So that should pick up some of the pigment here. All right, and then maybe one more smudge through. Let me go see what happens. Experimentation. Ooh, I like that. I like that little teal thing that happened there. We'll do one more here. Ooh, I like those. I like the splotches. All right, last layer, and then we will let this finish drying. That's like probably 90% dry. So I'm going to put this aside, and then we're going to come back with a distress glaze and buff it in. And it's supposed to take it from being kind of that chalky look to very dimensional. Let's get this cleaned up here. And then just to give you a little preview, I think my plan is to maybe take one of my punches, like a circle punch, and punch some circles out of that to use on a layout. Because this is smaller, obviously I can't use it as a whole background on its own. So I kind of want to use it to replace pattern paper, if you will, on a page. We'll see. I'm not quite sure yet. We'll see how it turns out in the end too. So putting that one aside, now let's jump into the alcohol inks. So one of the reasons I cut it to 8.5 by 11 is because I wanted it to fit in this box. Now I probably need to find a larger box for doing 12 by 12, but I have found this to be the solution. Oh, it doesn't fit. I was so close. We're going to balance it and it'll be okay. This is the kind of the solution for not touching the alcohol ink. And yeah, that is not exactly the way I wanted it, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. This should also help it not go off to the edge. Oh, Becky says maybe raindrop cutouts for this one. That would be cute. I don't think I have I could use my silhouette certainly to cut anything out of it. And I did that on a layout recently as well. So, okay, some things to know about alcohol inks. They run together and blend with the alcohol blending solution, and they break apart with water. So it's fun to use both to get an interesting effect. So this is the great example. You can see this side had more of the alcohol blending solution. So you can see it's more flowy. There's still some distinct colors where they didn't mix and others where they mixed more. And then all the kind of splotchy areas you see is because of a reaction with water. So it's really cool to have the mix of those. I think that's what really gives it some interesting dimension to the page. But so this is my experiment to try to see if we can do this without running off the page. I'm going to try to go in smaller sections than I've done before. So we will see. Okay, I'm going to start with the green, I think. I'm just going to put the blending solution in a small area here to start with. And I'm going to do 1 drop of green. All right. Oh, already went off the page there, but we will keep trying. I'm not going to let the ink go off the page, though. So now I'm going to do the turquoise. It's a stream. A little bit more here. Ooh, that's cool. This one down here is going a little rogue on me. Let's see if we can push it back. This green color is really nice. So again, kind of patience, seeing what happens. Maybe it's time to do a little water on this side. Oh yeah, fun. Losing some of the green, but Okay, now let's try to drop in. I'm going to spray it with water first here. I'm a little low on water. We're going to try 1 drop of eggplant. Ooh, that's fun. Yes, you could certainly use a straw here to blow it around. One thing I'm noticing is that I think this, ooh, almost to the edge there, this paper behaves a little bit differently than that Yupo paper. I'm seeing more kind of the trailing, whereas on the other one, I feel like it came together a little bit better. So it's just kind of a different look. It's almost, this one has more of kind of a resist property to it. It's definitely different. Because I'm not getting the same kind of looks as I did on the other. This is the Yupo paper. I'm not getting the same experience on this synthetic paper. It's interesting. Let's try. I'm going to give up on the edge thing, I think, because this one's not quite. That's crazy. The alcohol blending solution, like, just almost takes everything off. It's like it dissolves it. So, you know, you're saying we experiment with this particular paper for the first time live. I think this is a really cool look on the paper. It's very muted at this point. But when I add this alcohol blending solution, it just basically dissolves everything and makes it go off the page. Like, it takes all the vibrancy away. And that's not what happened on the Yupo paper at all. Very, very weird. I mean, it's interesting in its own right. But it's definitely a different experience. And in reading some of the comments on YouTube, sorry, not on YouTube, on Amazon about the different papers, I kind of anticipated that, but I didn't expect the results to be so dramatic in terms of how the paper performs differently. Fascinating. All right, I'm gonna grab a cloth here to try to soak up some of this. Not sure why I wear a white shirt today, but so far we're okay. All right, we'll get some of that soaking up, and then I'm going to go ahead and dry this, and we're going to see what happens when we try to dry it. See if it moves it around. I kind of want to spritz it, see what happens. Nothing? Okay. So weird. Yeah, when I added that water there, it is already dry. It did absolutely nothing. I mean, yeah, I don't. Let's see. Yeah, that's completely dry already. There's nothing coming out. So bizarre. Like, now what happens if we, ooh, it breaks it up. The alcohol blending solution, that kind of brings it back. So I would say that this Nara synthetic paper is more like this alcohol ink cardstock. Even though it feels like the Yupo paper, it definitely does not behave the same way. So I'm actually curious. I have a little, like, the edge over here that I had cut off. I want to try the distress inks on it and see if they dry. Because if the distress inks dry on the 12 by 12, I could do more of this look. Huh. Fascinating experiment. This is drying very, very quickly. I can tell you these took much longer to dry and more patience too. Whereas this is drying very, very quickly. I like how it turned out. It's interesting. It's just different. So I will set this aside for now. And let's see what happens with, kind of want to make this smaller. I'm just going to use scissors because we're going to experiment. Let's just use peacock feathers. And, ooh, that's nice. All right, let's just leave that like that. Let's dry this up and see what happens. Is it going to dry or not? Definitely takes a little bit longer. I'm trying not to warp the paper too much, but it is drying. We'll see. We're going to have to do the smudge test to be sure in the end. Okay. Almost. It's a cool, like, little pool effect. I like it. Like 95%. All right, so we'll put that aside for a second. Let's clean this up. Let's get the caps on our inks so we have no mishaps. Do not want our inks staining our tables or our shirts today. All right, now let's head back to this one. It's very chalky. So this glaze is very interesting. It's almost like a petroleum jelly waxy type of substance, but apparently it does dry and kind of gives this finish. You don't need very much. Let me see if I can just swirl a bit. And then in theory, this is going to bring out all this dimension in our page, because it's definitely very chalky right now. We don't want it to be like that. Wow. Okay, I see it. Wow. Wow. Do you see how that brought that purple forward right there? That is cool. I did not expect it to be such a dramatic. Whoa. That's so cool. Okay, it works. I will include the link to the original tutorial where I saw this procedure, because if I had not watched that, I would have not gone down this rabbit hole of trying so many different things. But that is really cool. It's such a different look. It was so kind of chalky and flat, and now it's not. There's definitely areas that pop. You can see all the layers. That's really cool. I'm impressed. And I only used the tiniest bit of glaze. I probably could have used even a little bit less. So you can see there's color transfer on here. So it's not, and maybe I didn't get this to 100% dry, but you're not seeing a lot of smudging. When I tried this on the Yupo paper, which is how I discovered that I needed the cardstock instead, it really just smudged all the colors together. I mean, great for blending, but that wasn't the goal, and it really just never dried either. All right, I'm gonna grab, I have another one. I'll just grab one of this one, and let's see what's gonna happen over here. It's not 100% dry, but I'm just gonna try on this side and see what it does. Is it gonna blend it all together, or is it going to do the same kind of bring out the dimension? It is definitely blending it together to a degree. You see there's transfer. You can see, it's not, yeah. It completely erased it there. So yeah, all the specialness of our design is gone, and the ink is all in here now. So that did not work. It was worth trying. It was worth experimenting to see if the Nara synthetic art paper was going to behave more like the cardstock or more like the Yupo. So for Distress Oxides, it does not work. And for alcohol inks, it has a little bit of a different behavior than I would say it does on the Yupo paper. So this is cool for its own right, but I definitely want to buy more Yupo paper because I like that. It's a much more vibrant look, and the interaction with the blending solution is very, very different. It more blends the colors together, whereas this made it almost was like it was washing the colors off. And maybe there's, yeah, it'd be interesting. Let's try. Okay, we're gonna try one more thing, and then I'll let you go. This is the same synthetic paper. Let's try no blending solution. We're going to try just the inks by itself and see what happens, if anything. I mean, it runs. It's very, okay, now I want to spritz it. What's going to happen to the water? It's a cool effect, but it's this part that really is getting me. See how it almost, it faded, it's like it disintegrated it. That's so bizarre. It's totally different on the other paper. I'm fascinated. All right. Thank you so much for playing along with me, for learning and experimenting. I hope you do the same, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Becky, thanks for chatting with me, and all those of you who watch in the replay, let me know if you have any questions. I wish you all the best, and don't forget to sign up for the 2021 planning party. If you're thinking about maybe you want to try more mixed media next year, we want to make sure you write that down and make that as part of your plan so that it happens. You can go to simplescrapper.com/plan21 to sign up. It's completely free, and I hope to see you there. Take care.